Imhotep, a name whispered through more than 4,000 years of history. He was not a king, not a conqueror, yet his legacy still stands tall, in stone, in science, and in memory. Born around 2700 BCE in ancient Egypt, Imhotep lived during the reign of Pharaoh Djoser in the Third Dynasty. He was a man of many talents, an architect, physician, engineer, high priest, and eventually a legend. His most famous achievement, the design of the Step Pyramid at Saqqara. Before Imhotep, tombs were simple, flat structures called mastabas. But Imhotep envisioned something no one had seen before, stone rising in stages, reaching upward toward the heavens. This was the world's first pyramid, not only a resting place for a king, but a symbol of divine order, stability, and ambition. The Step Pyramid would become the blueprint for all pyramids that followed. Even the Great Pyramid of Giza owes its existence to Imhotep's original vision. But Imhotep's genius didn't end with stone. He was also a physician, perhaps the first recorded doctor in history. Texts written centuries after his time attribute to him over 200 treatments for diseases and injuries. He diagnosed broken bones, prescribed herbs, even recognized conditions that modern medicine still studies today. Long before Hippocrates in Greece, Imhotep was already practicing a rational, systematic form of healing. It is no wonder that later generations in Egypt worshipped him as the god of medicine. Imhotep's mind stretched far beyond practical skills. He was a philosopher, poet, and astronomer. Some accounts describe him as a scribe of wisdom, a man who understood the stars and the sacred rhythms of the universe. He held the title of Chancellor to the King of Lower Egypt and High Priest of Heliopolis. His influence was so vast that he stood among the most trusted advisors of Pharaoh Djoser. What makes Imhotep remarkable is not only his achievements, but how his memory grew after his death. Centuries later, Egyptians still revered him, not as a man, but as a god. Shrines were built in his honor. He became associated with Thoth, the god of wisdom, and with Asclepius, the Greek god of healing. Few mortals in history have ever crossed that line, from human to divine. Imhotep did. Today, his legacy lives in every pyramid that stands against the desert sky, in the medical texts that carried his knowledge through generations, and in the idea that wisdom, true wisdom, bridges the gap between the practical and the spiritual. Imhotep reminds us that greatness is not always found in the throne, but often in the mind of the one who builds the throne room. He was the architect of eternity, the healer of bodies, the sage of Egypt, Imhotep, the first scientist,